Well. He's finally back.
Man.
How was your trip? How was your around the world in 80 days?
It was good. It was good. Just hung out, drank a lot of water.
Yeah, I bet.
Just sat by the pool, prayed a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm prayed a lot. Yeah. Could take that in multiple ways.
Yeah. My favorite.
I do want to say that it's great to have you back. I do want to say we got a hell of a show. We've got Chris Marler from Saturday Down South. We're talking a little bit of everything today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, turn that notification bell on. If you haven't joined Daily Wire Plus, figure it out, people. But I have joined a legitimate fantasy baseball league. Legitimate.
I've been hearing about this.
All right? Like, this isn't your grandma's, hey, I'm not okay, you're not okay, but that's okay. Fantasy league where everybody checks in every once in a while. I mean, I'm waking up, like, I look in the mirror and I see Brian Snicker.
You're getting alerts. You're getting texts.
I'm getting alerts. I'm finding out who's got a day off. I need Tyler O'Neill to get it together. Why are we getting days off so early in the season? But it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, I like being in one where everybody takes it seriously. It makes it so much more fun.
You're in there with a Red Sox fan, too.
Dude, I'm in there with like fans from all over. And the guy makes a mean pot of chili as well.
That's what I've heard.
We'll see. I'm excited. Got a pretty good lineup. Don't want to go through it right now.
Who's your first pick?
My first pick?
Yeah.
I went Vlad Guerrero Jr.
We can't go wrong with that.
No.
Let's be honest.
I mean, look, I'll pick anybody out of Vladimir Guerrero's family line. Are you kidding me? The crest on the shield's a baseball and a fence. Former Arizona Cardinals head coach Kliff Kingsbury will join Lincoln Riley's staff at USC as the quarterback coach. New details emerge on the death of former Washington quarterback Dwayne Haskins. And Megan Rapinoe, along with Sue Bird, signs a petition to oppose the Protection of Girls and Women in Sports Act. I'm Jay Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network dropped a news bomb last night when he said former Cardinals head coach Kliff Kingsbury now looks to join Lincoln Riley's staff at USC as their quarterback coach, or in some capacity. Now, putting Riley and Kingsbury together on the same staff is like Thanos finding the Infinity Gauntlet when it comes to offense, and having Caleb Williams is the last Infinity Stone. But despite what USC fans or our good friend Colin Cowherd will probably say, this doesn't solve USC's biggest problem. Offense has not been the issue for the Trojans and in Lincoln Riley's career in general. It's the defense and the strength and conditioning that is holding them back. Their championship fate won't be determined on the offensive side of the ball. We saw them get bullied when it mattered by Utah, and then Tulane ran through them like the plague in the bowl game. Now, they will drop 40 pieces and 50 pieces all year in the Pac-12. And they won't be alone with the array of quarterbacks returning in that conference. But eventually, USC is going to have to stop somebody when it matters. And Alex Grinch is more important to them winning a national championship than any offensive coach they can bring in. I'll also say strength and conditioning coach or sports performance director Benny Wiley is more important than Kliff Kingsbury. He inherited a roster last year that wasn't physically able to hold up. But with some new additions and a full offseason, don't be surprised if you see a more physical version of this USC team. Now, without these two gentlemen doing what they must, it'll just be another year of USC looking like the NBA regular season on defense. And on that note, a guy that made a lot of defenses look like the NBA regular season, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback. And then my brother Blaine is back from his trip.
Out of the woods, guys.
Baby.
Out of the woods.
And I wanted to, and if people don't know, he went on a cruise, and we actually have a picture from the cruise. Let's go.
This is the photo. This is a photo. Have you seen it?
There he is. Yes. There he is. If you're on audio, this is a picture of Blaine, one of their stops out on the beach.
I'm gonna head out.
Topless Dylan Mulvaney and a Bud Light.
I'm gonna head out here.
Yeah,
Great seeing y'all
It
guys.
is great. It
Look
looks
at that.
great.
You got Bud Light.
Looks like it was a heck of a time.
You'll definitely be hearing from my lawyer.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, it looks so much fun. You guys look so happy.
I just knew deep down that y'all were going to be up.
Did you put some Olay all over?
I knew it was going to be up to something.
This photo was apparently going around. You decided to share it with a couple close friends.
Yeah.
Justine got hold of it.
Yeah.
And she shared it with us.
What are we blacking out right there?
Hey, man.
What are we blacking out? I thought, hey,
some
if you were really
mystery.
paying attention to details, you'd have put me in a Nike shirt.
Yeah, well, again, you wore the shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, this
This
is
is what the
real.
photos
This
do.
is
Only you.
100% real.
Yeah, for sure.
But in all reality, we are glad you're back. I know the Booster Club
Missed them.
is glad you're back. David, I'll start with you on this Kliff Kingsbury thing. It's a good thing. I'm not saying this is a bad thing for USC, but when you have the best chocolate ice cream in the world, you probably don't need to make it chocolatier, if that's even a word. You know, maybe you want to work on the vanilla
Double
ice cream
fudge?
you're selling.
Double fudge?
Double fudge. Well, again, we're talking about just run-of-the-mill chocolate ice cream. Lincoln Riley, we know it's Lincoln Riley's offense. We know the way that Lincoln Riley operates. He's going to call the plays. He's basically the quarterback coach. Now, some, I guess, will argue that maybe this is Lincoln wanting to make an adjustment and take a step back to try and, be wholesome to the team and the defense. But that's not his bag. No. That's Alex Grinch's job. Lincoln Riley's success will be determined by Alex Grinch, who he hired, so therefore, Lincoln Riley's determining his own success. But if Grinch can't get it done this year, and you have Kliff Kingsbury as your quarterback coach wherever they have him, offensive coordinator, whatever you want to call him, I mean, at some point, you've got to get somebody in there that can do it. But I think the strength and conditioning angle is one that people don't talk about enough.
Point.
Because, look, as a coach, I can put you in position. If you're not strong enough to hit people at the point of attack and be able to get off blocks, if you're not strong enough to be able to stonewall guys and bring them backwards, or actually absolutely bring the lumber from the secondary to linebacker position, or you're not fast enough off the edge to get there, it doesn't matter what I call. So I think it's a combination of putting guys in the right position, which I think Alex will do, but the strength and conditioning part is huge. It's a good thing for USC, but this doesn't make them now the favorite to win the national championship. Congrats, you're great on offense. What's changed?
Gulliver's not the only one that's back, boys. You know, Kliff Kingsbury is back from Thailand.
Yep.
He got his fill of Pad See-Ew and Tom Yum soup. It was a great time. I'm jealous, but he is back. Going to go to Southern Cal. Sounds like he's not technically going to be the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator. Jake, you're right about this, right? Like this is not huge for USC from a schematic standpoint, but I still think that this is a good move by USC, and I'll tell you why. Okay, this is not the Nick Saban School of Rehabilitation, where you have a CEO-type coach who is, has a history of running the defense, and you bring in someone like Lane Kiffin or Steve Sarkisian or Bill O'Brien, right? It's not that sort of situation where you need those pieces. Lincoln Riley's going to call the offense for USC. We already know that, and they need to get better on defense, just like you pointed out. So Kliff Kingsbury being there is not huge from a schematic standpoint, but from a brand standpoint, Lincoln Riley can now say, at USC, we can go get anyone. We can go get former NFL head coaches to come be quality control here, basically. When was USC on top of the college football world?
When they had the whole kit
back when
caboodle
Pete
out there.
Carroll,
Snoop
the
Dogg
Silver Fox was running up and down the sidelines with Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and Lindale White, even though Lindale White was recently discourteous to me on Twitter. Blake Ruffino dragged me into that. That was not on me.
It's always Ruffino dragging something.
He did that one, okay?
Ruffino's,
and Zaxby's is better.
He's
than
the only one
Kane,
dragging
so we're
more
gonna
than the
figure that
actual
one out.
dragging.
But I like this move for USC. I like it even more for Kliff Kingsbury. It's even bigger for him.
One and done?
Come back.
One and done?
Yeah.
Probably one and done. But what it says is he's already getting paid by the NFL. He's getting paid by the NFL, so they don't need to, fork up a bunch of money from Southern Cal for him to be financially stable or something like that. It brings him back into the football world, allows him to work with yet another Heisman Trophy winner, right? We saw him work with Johnny Manziel. We saw him work with all these great quarterbacks. Now he's going to be able to work with Caleb Williams. He already worked with Kyler Murray, right? So it's going to give him another chance to just stay in the world, do what he does best, which is call offenses. He has a losing record as a head coach in the NFL. He has a losing record as a head coach in college. Some guys are assistant coaches. Right?
Yeah, no,
some guys are directors of photography. They're not directors. Some guys are great drummers. They don't need to be the lead singer of the band. It allows him to do what he does best, call offenses.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Blaine, is this a similar situation that we've seen a lot we've seen it with Sark. Obviously, we saw it with Nick Saban. We saw it with Steve Spurrier. We've seen it many times. Is this a guy that even though he had a losing record in college, he got an NFL job after having a losing record in college?
That was wild.
All right, but going to the NFL, you know how the sausage is made in college. You saw how the veal's made in the NFL. Is this him coming back to college and saying, no, I want to stay here. I feel better in college.
He's home. I think he's where he wants to be honest. He went to the NFL. I mean, had another elite quarterback in Kyler Murray. I mean, let's be honest, but didn't like the taste of it. It's a little bit built a little bit different in college, but this really doesn't excite me. I mean, if I'm a USC fan, great. We had a Kliff Kingsbury, but I have Caleb Williams, a Heisman winner, and Lincoln Riley, hashtag the guru. I mean, just think about what really matters to USC, exactly what you said. The games you lost, and even the games you won. I mean, you're giving up 40 points plus a game. You had to beat Utah, 47 to 45?
You got pushed around, and I don't want to disrespect Tulane because they were a really good football team, but you got pushed around by Tulane up front. It wasn't just Pratt and those skill players. You got, and when it mattered. It's one thing if I sneak you a couple times. It's one thing if I run stunt, you catch me one time and hit me big. It's another thing when you can just line up and run whatever you want. Peanut butter and jelly works, and so does a baguette from a cafe in the middle of Paris or some fancy restaurant. All of it worked for Tulane when it mattered. When I know you've got to have it, and you know you've got to have it, and you can still line up and bully me, that's the problem. That's ripping somebody's manhood out in front of them. That's what it is.
And it's not like the Pac-12 got worse, right?
No,
you added Deion. I mean, Oregon State's turning into what Oregon State's going to be, which people are excited about that. But listen to this. You lost 43 to 42 to Utah. You won 45 to 37 against Arizona. Won 41-35 against Cal. Had to win 48-45 against UCLA. Then you got drugged by Utah 47-24. Then 46-45 to Tulane. And we're talking about winning regular season. Now, I mean, when we talk about USC, what we usually talk about? Championships. If this has happened to you in the Pac-12, I can show you a couple teams down here that'll drop 70 on.
We say that, but this may be the best year offensively the Pac-12's had in a long time. I don't know if that defense can survive Michael Penix in Washington with what they're bringing. Or Cam Rising in Utah. Or Jake Delore at Arizona. Eventually, Arizona State's going to figure it out. Bo Nix in Oregon. We know Chip Kelly and UCLA offensively are definitely going to be competent. I can go down the list. This could be the deepest year offensively in the Pac-12 at the quarterback position and just from the skill position in general, per capita, per conference, however you want to put it, that we've seen in a long, long time. So it's going to be interesting.
I wanted to just say one more thing before you move on quickly. Did y'all know this was Kliff Kingsbury's second stint at USC? Because I had forgotten this. Clay Helton had hired him in December of 2018 to come be the OC after he got fired from Texas Tech. He left the next month to get the Cardinals job. And I was thinking about it when you said that he got hired to an NFL team after getting fired by Texas Tech. He had 1 month stint as the OC at USC and got out of that contract. I had completely forgotten about that.
I had totally forgotten about that as well, but I tell you what I didn't forget about. All right, if you're trying to get a fully customizable suit like I am for my wedding because I want to look sharp and I didn't want it to be too expensive, and that's why our friends over at Indochino made it so easy, David. I could look sleek without breaking the bank, and I customize every detail on my suit, shirt, dinner jacket, and more. Indochino offers a range of colors from traditional black or gray to burgundy or olive. Guys, regardless of any event, Indochino is the absolute move. I just want it to be efficient. All right, that's what we always talk about, right? Work smarter, not harder. Indochino made it so efficient and easy for me because I'm going to be honest, I'm not a suit savant. All right? I didn't grow up as the son of Joseph A. Bank or some tailor or cobbler in Italy. I don't know 100% how it works, but they made it really, really easy, and I was able to get what I wanted to. All the pieces that I was looking for, I found all the way from the pocket flaps on. The customization was always great, and you can shop online or visit their showroom. I decided to go online because that was easier for me. So RSVP to all your events, knowing that you have the perfect look with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com. Use our code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, to get 10% off any purchase, $399 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com. Use that promo code BOOSTER.
So you got the suit, you got the tux?
Dude, I'm looking so fly.
So I have the olive green shirt from Indochino.
Okay.
Love that thing.
Okay.
When it's tailored to you, it just makes a difference. Look good, play good. You
gotta look good to
with
play
everything. You look, staring at yourself in the
mirror.
Well,
I can't let Reed down, man.
But look good, play good. Have clothes that fit you properly.
I can't let Reed down. I have to look fly in this one.
Look at that.
Shedding for the wedding a little bit, feeling
Shedding
good.
For the wedding, you look good.
Shedding for the wedding.
I'm on the apocalypto diet, out in the woods, running from things I don't know with blue paint all over me.
The Mel Gibson diet.
Yeah, look, this however you want to put it, it works. Let's just stare in the mirror and freak out. What's going on?
Let's go to Texas Ed.
Let's do it.
All right, he's in Texas, obviously. He says this. Kliff Kingsbury to USC. It's like adding another slice of grilled cheese already on a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's good.
It's good,
yeah.
but doesn't make it great.
Yeah, look, if I go and order a meal, like a good team, it's like a good meal, right? You got a little bit of everything. You got your entree, your steak, what you're best at. That's offense for USC. But the mashed potatoes better be good enough. Mm-hmm. The asparagus better be good enough. And right now, USC's mashed potatoes and asparagus isn't good enough to win Restaurant of the Year.
Yeah. It's never a bad thing to put good coaches in good spots.
It's not.
Like let's say you're in one of those 43, 42 games, right, for the conference championship or something. That extra offensive mind to help you game plan or to help you scheme or maybe to catch something that Lincoln Riley didn't catch when he was prepping, that I think could add some help. But it's not going to matter unless they tighten up the defensive side of the ball. They already know that, and I'm sure they're addressing it.
Yeah, again, they've addressed it through the portal and the strength and conditioning. I'm going to keep going back there.
All right, let's go to the bro council. Look, bro, sit down. I'm going to counsel you up a little bit. He says, I think Kliff is right where he needs to be. Didn't work out first in college. He had tastes of the NFL. He lies where he wants to be. Some people are just not ready to be an NFL head coach.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't even classify it maybe as not ready, but just don't want to after they see it. Again, look, these things take time. Everybody doesn't go to the NFL and just go gangbusters their first couple of years, but you get to know the way the league works. Compared to what you saw in college. And there are inherent advantages in college as opposed to the NFL. Every team isn't as close. You can out-athlete people in college, which we know a lot of teams do. There's been a lot of head coaches that have been really successful just out-athleting people. But I think he tried both flavors, and we know which flavor he likes best. So, again, I'm not going to knock the guy for doing it. I'm not going to obviously knock USC for doing it. It's a smart move. I just, again, don't think it's the last pillar for them to go win. I think I saw a donation in there.
Yeah, I'm going to get to it in 1 second.
Okay.
Let's go to Colby. He wants to know, how much does this new hire at USC help get Dylan Raiola? Is UGA maybe still in the mix too?
I will never count Georgia out. I will never count Georgia out, but you want to know one way to attract a quarterback and maybe change his mind late in the game, adding a guy like Kliff Kingsbury with Lincoln Riley. I mean, again, like Leonidas climbing up to consult the oracles about whether he could go to war during the Carnea. That's who I want to be talking to. Mm-hmm. All right? I want to talk to the experts. If I'm going to go try and... Because, again, what are these kids trying to do? It's a business nowadays. It's no longer, well, my dad went to Auburn, or, hey, I'm from Tennessee, so I'm automatically going to go there. It's no. I consider myself, or I think I have a chance to be a professional quarterback, to make lots of money. It is about business now. Just like sometimes you grow up in a great town, but you get an offer to go to Stanford or somewhere like that, and you want to be a lawyer or whatever it is, and that puts you in the best position, maybe not anymore, but to put you in the best position to become the lawyer that can make the most money and have the most success. It's the same thing now in college football recruiting. That kid is going to go to the place that puts him in the best position to get drafted high and make oodles and oodles and noodles of money. That's what recruiting is.
I agree with you when you say the word automatically. Legacies don't automatically make you go to that school.
Yes.
I will say it's always been a business decision for a lot of people. You take like Peyton Manning, for instance. He decided not to go to Ole Miss, where his father, Archie Manning, went, right? He wanted to go to Tennessee. And play for our boy David Cutcliffe, right? So for some people, it has been a business decision. On the Dylan Raiola, he's a 2024 five-star quarterback, number one in the class, right? So his father played center at Nebraska. I'm wondering do you think Dylan Raiola is looking at Nebraska to see how they do in 2023? How will Matt Rule's first 100%. Year go? Because while, yes, he's going to make a business decision. Yes, he wants to keep, NIL in mind and be cognizant of which coach is going to help him go to the NFL, which is his ultimate dream. That legacy where his father played still matters. So if Matt Rule can turn Nebraska around somewhat in 2023, Nebraska could still be in play for him, too.
Yeah, and again, I think it's the situation that Nebraska finds himself in. Did they have a good year because they had a good quarterback? And now Dylan's going to have to go in there and sit and maybe wait behind a guy who's actually brought Nebraska back? Because they're not going to trade out a quarterback that they feel like can bring them back to glory after what they've had to sit through. I think a lot of it is, what type of year is it?
Did they have a good year did they have a decent year, but quarterback was the problem?
What's a good year for Nebraska?
If they win 9 games and the quarterback's coming back, I don't think there's a chance in hell that some freshman freshman's going to come in there and play.
There's nothing sexy about Nebraska.
You don't think Dylan Raiola would say, man, they won 9 games with a quarterback who I think I'm better than. Man, maybe I could get Nebraska up to double-digit wins and go to the college.
Well, if he's willing to redshirt a year, but I know what Matt Rule's going to do. Matt Rule's going to play the guy that won him 9 games. Like Matt Rule, that's how he builds, turns the old 1950s Chevy that never worked back into operating and looking good, almost in mint condition. We've seen him do it multiple times. But is 1 year enough? Is 1 year enough as opposed to watching Georgia go kick everybody's ass again? Because it's not just about watching how you win. I'm watching that offensive line, and I know for at least a 3-year career that I'd have at Georgia, there's going to be guys protecting me that are going to get drafted like me. That's my thing. How good are we up front?
Yeah.
How good are we on the outside? And Georgia, we talked about the tight ends yesterday. That is a quarterback's best friend. That is a security blanket. You just put it over yourself at night if it's cold, and it just warms you to sleep. Close my eyes. Hello, Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
Close my eyes. Hello, Brock
While
Bowers.
you were gone, we talked about Georgia the past 6 seasons in a row has snagged the number 1 tight end in the class 3 times and the number 2 tight end in the class 3 times. And talking about Georgia, they may be in a similar situation that we just described. Let's say Georgia doesn't three-peat for championships and they struggle at the quarterback position, but the rest of the team is elite. Dylan Raiola may be looking at that and saying, I can be the one who goes and gets him another championship, right? That's all Georgia needs.
It's just tough, especially if you're a quarterback now with Nebraska. I know back in the day, Nebraska was a great place to go to, but now nothing is sexy about going to Nebraska. One, it'll come down to NIL money. 2, Georgia's worst starter would be Nebraska's best player, in my opinion, on this Nebraska.
3 guys have transferred from Georgia to Nebraska.
So there you go. So they're probably going to be the best players already. So, I mean, if I'm a quarterback with what's going to be out there, it's going to be hard for me to go to Nebraska. But, hey, I guess Matt Rule could probably get it done. I mean, if there's another guy, I mean, I don't know, but I know Matt could get it done because Matt's going to fix the what first. Matt's going to fix up front first.
For sure. Speaking about fixing, guys, if you're struggling with frown lines from watching Koepka's game implode over the weekend, or maybe you just hate the Live Golf Tour in general, or maybe you went to work yesterday with puffy eye bags after crying tears of joy after our boy John Rahm, #Rombo, climbed his way up the leaderboard on Sevi Ballesteros' birthday. All right? Well, I have the perfect solution for you. Because skincare shouldn't just be for ladies, man. I want my skin to look good.
Thank you.
For as long as possible. Like, I want my hair to look good.
There you go.
And my face to look good. And my body to look
There
good.
you go.
And my suits to look good. All right? Well, with Genucel, all right, they have a wide array of products. It's fantastic. I've got it ever since I've gotten it, and I say this every time. Reed loves it. I mean, every morning before I go to work, she puts her hands on my face. I enjoy that. I appreciate that. Because she's the best looking person that's liked me ever. All right? With Genucel's Dark Spot Corrector, it's formulated with, hear me out right here, David, revolutionary ingredients that effectively diminish the appearance of unsightly dark spots, acne scarring, and any other patches of discoloration. All right? If your face is a mess, this is the place. The Ultra Retinol Moisturizer contains a powerful retinol alternative that visibly reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and skin discoloration, so you can wake up like this. All right? And right now, Genucel is offering 70% off their most popular package of products for the Booster Club. We take care of our own in here.
We do.
And if you don't know what the Booster Club is, and you're listening or watching this, congratulations, you're in it. Hit up Genucel. All right? You can get these products and more for 70% off. Genucel will have you looking 5, 10, or even 15 years younger, just in time for warmer weather. That's why I nicknamed them the Benjamin Button Cream. All right? Best of all, they guarantee results in as little as 12 hours or your money back. So visit Genucel.com/booster to save over 70% off their most popular package. It includes the Dark Spot Corrector as well as their Ultra Retinol and Under Eye Treatment. Every order subscription includes a luxury gift box with these 3 free springtime essentials just in time for warmer weather and free shipping, Dave. So go to Genucel.com, GENUCEL.com/booster.
Man, that's a deal. I'm on week 5. Week 5 twice a day.
I mean, you're basically a Kardashian.
Around, okay, well that. Okay,
but not in a good way.
Okay, in the best of ways.
In the best of ways.
Around our house, we call it the anti-Major League Baseball cream.
Yes.
Because I want smaller bags under my eyes.
I love that.
Bars.
Absolute bars.
Not bigger.
I was born in a prison in the strip downtown. Just
smaller
bars
bags
everywhere.
I love it.
All right, let's get to a little bit of rapid fire here.
Let's do it. All right, you ready for the first one? Hold on. I have
hit
a
that
pew. There we go. NBA playoffs.
Okay.
Play in. Playoff-ish, right?
Okay.
We're playing in. Jake, break down the format. We got 7s and 8s and 9s and 10s.
All right, look. I know a ton of our audience isn't huge NBA fans, so I'm going to make this really concise. Okay? 7 through 10 seeds. This is the playing game, all right? I consider it part of the playoffs, just like I consider the playing games part of the NCAA tournament.
So the 10 seed can lose and say, we made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they changed the rules. The teams didn't ask to change the rules. They changed the rules. So here's how it works. All right, tonight, you have the 7 and 8 seeds playing against each other. All right, so there's 2 7s and 2 8s. They're both playing against each other. All right, whoever wins that is the 7th seed. They only have to win one game. That's the 7-8 game. All right, so whoever wins that, you're in the next round. You are the 7th seed locked in. Whoever loses that game, whether it's the 7 seed or the 8 seed going in, they're not out of it yet. They have a chance to win another game, all right, to play another game, and if they win that, they're the 8th seed. Now, who would they play, you ask? The 9 and 10s are both playing each other tomorrow. That's single elimination. So if you lose, you're done. If you're going to be the 8th seed as the 9 or 10 going into the play-in, you have to win 2 games in a row. You cannot lose one. If you're the 7 or 8 seed, so the 2 teams playing tonight.
So we have Atlanta, Miami in the East.
Atlanta, Miami in the East.
So whoever wins that is in as the 7.
In as the 7, and the other team is not out.
And then Chicago and Toronto are playing tomorrow in the East.
Yes, I want to say, so Hawks Heat, like you said, are the 7-8, and then the Timberwolves are playing the Lakers. That's the other.
In the West.
That's in the West. That's the other 7-8 game. So all these teams, regardless tonight, are still going to be alive. Okay, but whoever wins, you're automatically locked into the 7, baby. So you're going to get the 2.
So let's take T-Wolves, Lakers in the West, right?
Yep.
Whoever wins tonight is in as the 7th seed. Then you have Oklahoma City, New Orleans tomorrow. Whoever loses that's automatically out. The winner of that game plays the loser of tonight's game for a chance to hit the 8th seed.
There it is. Winner
and that
advances.
8th seed will then play the number 1 overall seed.
Yep, that's exactly right. So that's how the playing game works. I think some people are a little bit confused by that, so we hope we kind of cleared that up. Just as far as an overview of the game, look, it's so interesting when you get into this portion because we're still hearing trade rumors now with Trae Young. They're talking about it. We may see the Hawks be in the business of just looking around. I told you they should have got Luka, even though it's not looking great for Luka and the Mavs right now. I tell you what, boys, give me the Heat tonight. Something about just the junkyard dog mentality of the Heat. I know Ice Trae can get hot and just hit him from the logo all night. But just, I don't know, man, something about the Heat.
Jimmy Buckets.
I mean, you go down the list. I feel like in one game, you know, they are more defensive-minded. I'm excited to actually see some defense. It's going to be awesome. But, I mean, Jimmy leads them in points per game. He leads them in assists per game. Bam Adebayo's leading them in field goal percentage. We know how effective they are there. But I'm going to go Heat, man.
Blaine, what do you think?
No Kyle Lowry for the Heat, right? No Max Strus. I like the Heat in this game. I do think I'm taking both the Hawks to cover plus 8.5 and the T-Wolves plus 11.5. I think these games will be a lot closer than what people think. But I think the Heat, when it comes down to it, when we talk about the NBA, what we talk about, especially when it gets later in the season, playoffs, defense.
Okay, so
all right, defense, Heat, when it comes to their defense, Bam Adebayo. Bam's such an underrated player to me because he can get bigs out in space. He can hit jumpers. He can hit threes. And he just, the work ethic of the Heat is what I'm in love with. And when you go to the Hawks, they're all offense and buzz. That's it. They're going to lean on Trae to get hot. If not, it might get ugly. But I do like the Heat in this game.
But Bam is like having that, almost like a Will Anderson Junior type player. A player that's physical enough to go take that tackle on, or hey, I get a down block, I'm going to spill that pull, whatever. If I want to box it, I'll box it. But he's also athletic enough to drop back in coverage or go cover somebody. Bam can do that. Bam can defend you on the perimeter, but you're also not going to bully him in the paint. And that's like having a great tight end, a great jack, or a great nickel on defense. Those guys are hard to find because you got to take them against guys like that can shoot threes and back you down. That's what makes it tough, but that's why Bam's such a good defensive player because of his versatility. Then you look at the T-Wolves and the Lakers. No Rudy Gobert, and I want to say this.
Suspended.
Good for Minnesota. I know they make horrible decisions as an organization, okay? But I think just from a morality standpoint, just from a in the future cultural standpoint, them sitting Rudy Gobert says that no one player, regardless of the game we're playing next, is bigger than the organization. And I know Rudy came out on Twitter and apologized, but man, I don't care what said. You punch somebody and then run away and you're 8 foot tall. I just got no respect for
Man, the right decisions all around here. Rudy Gobert came out with a heartfelt apology, which is the right move. All you can do is move forward in the best way possible after you commit a mistake, and he did that. And then the Timberwolves to suspend him, even given the gravity of the situation they're in here with a chance to make the playoffs, or as like you said, advance in the playoffs, I guess. So I was surprised to see it, pleasantly surprised, I'll say that. Blaine, on the Lakers, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, how healthy are they, and what do you think the Lakers?
They're doubtful for this game.
Both.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right
now. I see why you took
I'm looking at it right now. So right now, Rudy Gobert out. Karl Anthony Towns, doubtful.
Not shocked.
Is anyone going to play basketball?
D'Angelo Russell, doubtful. LeBron James, doubtful. Anthony Davis, doubtful. Why would I watch this?
Hold on. Is that just a situation where they're just trying to play, cat
Why
and
not
mouse
put
here?
question? Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I don't think you do that. I just put questionable.
Okay.
That's what you said.
Now me getting excited about this game, doubtul.
If they don't play, yeah, exactly. If they don't play in this game, I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch.
Yeah, I don't want to watch the G League.
But if LeBron plays, I'm not surprised about Anthony Davis. I mean, every time you say his name, it adds on a week to his injury.
So 10 guys take the court, 5 on each team, and the 5 biggest stars in the game may not play.
If Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns don't play for the T-Wolves.
I said it was a great decision, but if I'm the T-Wolves management looking at who's not playing for the Lakers tonight, I'm like, listen, let's go get Rudy.
Yeah, look, Rudy, just apologize.
Look, Rudy, I need you to just look
think about it, you can't sneak a 7-footer out there. You just can't sneak him out there. Well, he's a different guy. Put a mustache on him, long hair, and throw him out there.
Hey, what's up? This is Trudy Gobert.
But I do like the Lakers in this game. I just think the Lakers are a better team. I think Anthony Edwards is going to ball in this game. I think so, but I just don't think the T-Wolves are deep enough to really run with the Lakers. But we'll see who plays. That's what it comes down to. What players are on the court when the game's about to start.
Best ability, availability.
Damn right.
All right, ready for the next one?
Always.
All right, let's move on to the next one here in rapid fire. Megan Rapinoe, soccer star, and Sue Bird, basketball star, who have both benefited from Title IX, have signed a petition opposing the Protection of Girls and Women in Sports Act. Let me repeat that. They have signed a petition opposing the Protection of Girls and Women in Sports Acts. Here's a quote, along with, there were, I think, 40 other signatures on here, a quote from that petition. We believe that gender equity in sports is critical. That's the first sentence. We believe that gender equity in sports is critical, which is why we urge policymakers to turn their attention and efforts to causes women athletes have been fighting for decades, including equal pay, an end to abuse and mistreatment, uneven implementation of Title IX, and a lack of access for equity of girls of color and with disabilities. Talking about uneven implementation of Title IX, does men playing in women's sports not qualify?
Well, this is the sad part. Megan Rapinoe's done, basically. Sue Bird's on her last leg. I mean, she's as old as Larry Bird. So this isn't going to affect them at all. I mean, Megan Rapinoe, I don't know about Sue Bird. I know Megan Rapinoe's gay. She's not having kids. I don't think anytime soon it's not going to affect her kids. I mean, is anybody shocked by this?
They might be in a relationship together.
Yeah, they may be. Again, I haven't read Vogue lately or whatever. But
I don't know.
I'm serious. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
David, nothing surprises me nowadays with what I'm seeing. But we live in a world now where women, top-level women, are actively endangering other women and ruining all the things that women fought for before them. Megan, y'all lost to a 15-year-old boys team, all right? You're going to let men go in there and play, but it doesn't affect her anymore. She's done. It's not going to take her spot. Here's what's going to happen, all right? I already talked about the boycott. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it just makes you want to throw up. But what will happen is you have a lot of women in sports, let's just call it like I see it, are lesbians. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
That's not a crazy statement to make. So they're part of this LGBTQ, LMNOP, HIJK, TRYZ plus apostrophe sign group. All right? Sorry.
Percentage.
Yeah, percentage sign. Sorry, I
Equal
didn't
sign.
mean, yeah, I had to finish it. They're part of this group. So if they go against this group,
yeah,
like they've put themselves in a horrible spot because they're not going to tell you what they really believed. I don't think Megan Rapinoe, she knows that men shouldn't be playing against women. But what's going to have to happen is, what's going to be the craziest part of all this is when the men do start going over there and they start taking spots away from women, taking money away from women, including gay women, and then it's going to put gay women against trans women. It's just so amazing. I'm having
Dave Chappelle pointed all this
out.
For
sure.
in his
They're going to put him against each other.
LGB and then the
They're going to put him against each other because they're going to be taking away opportunities. And that is when you're going to see it all start to crumble.
Happen. They don't
That's when you're going to see it all start to crumble. When you got guys that look like like Ibrahimovic running on the women's soccer team taken away? Because if I'm the coach of the U.S. women's team and you're going to let me have dudes, I'll take them. That's fine. Megan Rapinoe, you run a 5.4 40. Get out of here. Ooh, gross. Go do something else. Here, Jack, come here. Come here, guy that runs 4.5, that's 6'2". So I am just waiting for the moment when they already look like idiots, because they are idiots. But they're going to look even dumber, as if that was possible, when these guys start taking spots and then they start complaining about it. Because Zach Galifianakis said something very, very smart one time.
What'd he say?
He said, you know what? I'm not even going to say that.
Mom, bring me the Oreo smoothie.
I'm not even going to say that.
Bring me the Oreo smoothie, Mom.
So wait, Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe are engaged.
I just found it.
They're engaged. And not just in dumbassery.
They've been together for like 5 years.
Yeah, so good. What are they going to do? Their kids don't have to. How are they going to have them? They're going to just get a surrogate? They won't do that.
I don't know how long ago I said this, but sooner or later, they're going to be on the chopping block, right? Like sooner or later,
it's coming.
They're going to be at your front door. Look, endorsements are playing into this, obviously, if you're Megan Rapinoe.
But Blaine, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird don't have to deal with that. I know.
I'll
tell this. Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird don't give a damn about the girls. They don't give a damn about anybody but themselves, because it don't affect them.
No, I mean, not at all. And it's ironic at the end of the day. Men are going to have to save women's sports. We're going to have to sooner or later. I mean, what all women are coming out right now, especially the celebrity women, the upper echelon women in the sport, are coming out against this. Men are going to have to say, if anybody, Rapinoe should know this. I mean, they got ran on by their pockets got ran by a bunch of 15-year-old boys. Yeah, you're not allowed to drive it without a parent.
You're 2 years out of trick-or-treating. You got beat by somebody that was trick-or-treating 3 years ago.
It has to. There's no way deep down they know that men should.
Oh, they know.
It has to be endorsements. It has to be money.
And the virtue signaling.
That's what.
The virtue signaling aspect of it.
Yeah, of course. But it's Megan Rapinoe. She's always.
And I just don't think. I don't think they think it will get to that place.
Oh, wait till it does.
And it's like they can't see it coming.
Look, you want to see toxic masculinity? Y'all ain't seen toxic masculinity.
It's like the games where people are up in the stands saying, "We want Bama."
Yeah, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Like I promise
they're pretty good.
You don't want Bama.
You don't want them to get off that bus.
No.
All right, next one here, a serious subject with Dwayne Haskins. Former Buckeye quarterback, former Washington Commanders quarterback. I'm going to read this directly from ESPN here because I don't want to get any of the information wrong in what's being alleged. Dwayne Haskins was drugged on the night of his death as part of an alleged blackmail and robbery conspiracy against the former NFL quarterback, according to a lawsuit filed by his family. This suit, filed last month in Broward County down in Florida, lists 4 individuals, 2 restaurants, a golf driving range, and a hotel as defendants connected with the alleged conspiracy. Haskins was killed on April 9th, 2022, after he was struck by a dump truck while walking on a South Florida highway. The lawsuit also lists the driver of a truck as the defendant, citing his negligent acts as a direct cause of Haskins' death.
Well, when you think a horrible story, can't get worse. And again, this is all alleged. This is being litigated right now. So, nothing is set in concrete. Just tragic, man. And look, would it surprise me at all in the world we live in today? No, not at all. But it seems to me there's a lot of moving parts in this thing. Like everything isn't connected between the driver and then the conspiracy. Because at first when I read it, I thought they were saying the driver was in on it. Like this was some, huge thing where 6 or 8 people were involved. But if it's true or if it's not true, it's horrible either way. I mean, again, I believe his limit, he was, was over 2.0 or whatever it was.
0.20 and 0.24, both of which are over the legal limit of 0.08. He also had
ketamine.
He
got drugged. Yeah. That's what happened.
Allegedly.
You have ketamine. He had ketamine as something. I don't think Dwayne Haskins.
People use ketamine recreationally.
I don't think Dwayne's out here using ketamine though. Yeah. A quarterback in the NFL?
Well, again, we don't know that.
And his watch was stolen before he got hit by the truck.
His attorney did say it is believed that Dwayne was targeted and drugged as part of a blackmail and robbery conspiracy. In fact, his highly expensive watch was stolen from him shortly before
he got hit by that truck. Look, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's probably going to be a duck.
This is sad, man. I mean, it was already sad. It was already sad when you thought that maybe Dwayne was just walking near a highway and got hit in an unfortunate accident. To understand that there may be some machinations behind this, this is a bad situation.
It is an awful situation. But, we see, and again, this is alleged, but we see this happen a lot. We've seen it in sports before, but in the rap industry, in the music industry in general, we've seen guys, just get caught up being outside or in public and crazy stuff happens. It's a sad situation.
No doubt. That's what I have for rapid.
All right, let's get to the Booster Club before we get Chris Marler from Saturday Down South.
All right, let me get to these donations. Airborne Dan with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, brother. He says, "Oh, cool. Blaine is back. I thought those zombie things got him while he was holding the door for Braun to escape. Welcome back, bud." Appreciate it.
Well, he's looking for his golf ball. Did you watch our golf episode where he drove around the course?
I did.
It was great.
I did. How was it? How was it sitting on it, the golf course?
It was great, man. I thought we handled it perfectly.
Yeah?
Yep.
I heard y'all didn't have Rahm in the poll to win it.
No, well, I actually went out on the show and said, I'm not going to bet John Rahm, which means he's going to win it by 95 strokes.
You did say that.
And I also said Adesanya.
We did have Rahm.
Pereira out, and y'all looked at me like
we had Rahm in the poll.
Okay, but let's go back to that Adesanya fight. That was oh no, oh yes.
Hold on, let me look it up. It says knockout.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like
I
know. That's the thing about UFC.
But we had Rahm in the poll.
No, we
didn't.
All
right? Yes, we did. The field. All right?
Yeah,
the field.
The
field, DJ.
There it is.
Get it right. And I think the field actually won the poll. So there you go.
Yeah,
so they were right.
You're not allowed to say that word anymore, the field.
See?
Sorry.
Look at her. There it is.
Let's go to Trent Kelly with a $2 donation. He says, Blaine and Dylan make a cute couple. Ha 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 ha.
Don't they? Drinking a Bud Light and going and buying 10
Hold on. It's official? It's official, or it was just a thing? It was just a...
Congratulations.
No, it was just a thing y'all made up on the show.
This is the thing you did?
Did not.
It was just a weekend. It was just a weekend.
Hey,
no, it wasn't.
Hey, weekend at Blaney's.
Weekend at Blaney's.
I'm so glad to be back.
All right, let's
go to Jeremiah O with a $5 donation. It says, if teams need another reason why not to pick Will Levis, he puts mayonnaise in his coffee and eats banana peels whole.
Yeah, well, we knew that when he was at Kentucky. I just think the reason you don't need to pick him because he's got one pitch.
Be accurate.
Yeah.
Let's go to Easton Freeman with a $2 donation. Has Rudy Gobert been kicked off the 7-foot island? No, he hasn't.
He had look. He's punishment right now. Changed the light bulbs at the stadium, so he's doing that.
We're making it known to him his transgressions.
That's true. And again, speaking of trees, did you see that big freshman, the 7-footers replacing Castleton at Florida? He led the country in rebounding or something. He could run.
Really?
7-footer. I'm trying to remember his name off the top of my head. He's just a big tree. Big tree that can.
They had the WNBA draft last night, didn't they?
They did.
Aaliyah Boston went number one from South Carolina.
FIVA.
Let's go to L4E. Says, what team do you think will surprise people and what team you think will disappoint people in the NBA playoffs?
Look, it's hard for me not to just lean on what we saw during the regular season, but if we're going to talk about, who's going to surprise somebody, I mean, the Cavs have been a great surprise all year. Now, do I think they're going to get past the Bucks or the Celtics? No. I mean, the East is pretty set to me. I mean, it's Boston and Milwaukee, right? Got to be.
Well, this is where it gets
I love Spider. You know me, I don't mind James Harden. Mm-hmm. I like Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. But, man, it seems to me the Cavs, they just have that kind of a little bit like the Heat have been, that kind of physicality and that chip on their shoulder. Like, they no LeBron, haven't made a run without LeBron. I mean, give me the Cavs, man.
It's so tough.
I like that pick.
Because I would say the Kings, but they're a 3 seed. Right, so would it really surprise you? I mean, the Warriors, they're a 6 seed. Every time the playoffs start, the Warriors just turn into a completely different team.
Let me help you. If the Kings, I don't care if the Kings are number 1 overall seed. Okay. If they do anything in the playoffs, that's good for what
I would say.
That is true.
I would say the Kings.
What about the Suns? I mean, they're a 4 seed, so they're even lower, right?
Yeah, I know, but a team with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant,
and that's why it's tough. It's like
not gonna really sneak up on a lot of people.
Yeah, well, if we're gonna say disappoint, give me the Nuggets because I don't think they're gonna win it. It's gonna be another year of them winning the West and Jokic probably winning the MVP and them not winning an NBA title.
I would say.
What if they represented the West in the finals?
That would be a step. That would. Yes, that would kind of quench your thirst a little bit, but again, it doesn't give you the whole gulp you want. The Nuggets right now are in that window. They're in that window where you've got probably the most dominant player in the league.
Sure.
All right, you have got to strike while the iron's hot, right? You got to go to the opera while the fat lady's screaming. All right, sometimes you got to do that.
I would say the Clippers are going to probably disappoint the most. I think this is going to be the ending of the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard duo, and Russell Westbrook. So I don't think they're going to do a lot in the playoffs. I think they're going to get bounced pretty
seed are
early and
they?
think that then they're going to split it all up after this year.
Oh, they're the 5 seed?
Yeah, they're the 5 seed.
But speaking about people that don't disappoint, for the first time ever in the history of America, the United States and the USA, Chris Marler, a.k.a. Vern Funquist from Saturday Down South, joins us right now, and he's got a dashing mustache. Chris, what's up?
That is the best intro. Besides the mustache part, that's the best intro I think I've ever gotten. That's fantastic.
Wow.
How are y'all?
Look, this is what I do, man. Barnum Bailey, man. Let's get it. We're doing great. Appreciate you joining us this morning. And man, it's been too long. We got to get you on the show. I got to come on yours, man. We should have done this a long time ago.
Absolutely, man. It's been it's been a slow off season, but this is like kind of one of the best times of year for sports. I mean, I cover college football, but it's like you have Masters Week, obviously you have opening day a couple weeks ago, March Madness. I tell you what, I don't think it's super popular with like our SEC specific audience that we cater to at Saturday Down South. But the NBA playoffs is so much fun. It's so much better
than the regular season. It's like drinking a Coca-Cola and then a Czech Cola. Listen, I've got nothing against Czech Cola, but if I want top notch, I'm going with the white letters and the red background.
Yeah, it's a fantastic point. I did not see that coming, but it's a fantastic point. Czech Cola just catching strays this morning.
Oh, well, listen. Well, there may be some Czech Cola slander, but nobody's talking trash about Faygo over here. All right, I'll say that. I'll die on that hill. Faygo Peach.
I heard that was going to be on a new edition of It's Mid.
Yeah, Faygo makes J go. But Chris, I want to start with your Twitter account, man. I mean, you amassed a ton of followers. I know it's a sore subject, man, but I just want to let people know they need to go follow our buddy Vern Funquist. Tell them what happened, all right, and then where they can follow you.
I don't know how much of what happened is like how uncensored we need to be. I made a questionable at best April Fool's joke, and I thought it was funny. And what was weird too is it's like, so I had the Vern Funquist account for like 5 years. I've been on Twitter for since 2010, and I made a joke on April Fool's. It was up for like an hour and a half, and it got reported as disinformation from, I'm assuming, a Georgia fan that was upset with me about the nature of the joke. It was about Kirby and a tape leaking the TMZ reports. And it was like, none of it was real. It was up for an hour and a half. And it was a questionable decision, for sure. But I took it down, and then Elon was like, absolutely not. You're under review. And
he told you that personally?
It seems like Elon. We found out Elon Musk is a Georgia fan.
Right.
I knew it. He's a front runner Frankie just because they've gone back to back.
Everybody thinks Kirby's the reason Georgia's dominating. Turns out Elon's just put the dogs in.
They're all robots.
The whole time.
They're all robots.
The whole team.
100%.
No, so it got taken down. Somebody reported for disinformation. It was about I know like how my language is on Twitter, so I don't know how much we're allowed to talk about on here, but like it was a joke about a sex tape with Kirby, and it was up for an hour. Yeah. And I took it down, and it was obviously, like I said, a questionable joke. But they
it's April Fools.
It's April. I feel like on April Fools, we gotta there's gotta be some
protocol.
Just like on the Super Bowl, all right, or college football playing on Monday should be a national holiday. April Fools, we gotta loosen the rules a little bit.
Come on, Elon.
It says in the bio. Ironically enough, this is 12 years ago today was the first time I did stand-up comedy on stage. I've been doing it all over the country and Southeast for 10 plus years now, and it says in the bio, comedian. So apparently you're not allowed to be just no jokes on April Fools. I learned the lesson. I just now my follower count, I'll post stuff and it's like 34 people have seen this. I'm like, awesome. I'm below my mom's Twitter account. She has 2 of them. She has more followers than me.
I will say I've done a little stand-up lately, just messing around with it. You want to know my opener? Do Siamese twins get 2 chances to make a first impression? Just think about it. It's unfair because it's unfair.
It is.
It's unfair if one of them's bad at making first impressions, the other one's good at it. I mean, you need 2 shots at it. But Chris, speaking about first impressions, new quarterback at Alabama, Bryce Young, I think, is going number 1 overall to the Panthers. When you look at the landscape of college football, and you're an Alabama fan, do you feel like maybe the mantle has been passed to Georgia, or is this a year where Nick Saban kind of gets back on that redemption, I'm still your daddy, I need that green playbook, or it's going to get awfully physical out here?
Yeah, a fantastic Waterboy reference. No, so yes and no. I think that, I always say first and foremost, I grew up an Alabama fan. My whole family's from Anniston, Alabama, and I've done my best to not shame them. But I like to be objective as possible as well. And I do think the torch has passed. I think Georgia's the premier team and program in the country. I think it's changed a lot because it's just the way they handle their business day in and day out, or game in and game out, right? At the same time, I think that, like, I've watched Kirby over the past couple of years. You've seen how close he's coming against Bama. Kirby's 1-4 against Saban. But I would say right now, if you have a game to prepare for, you have a big game coach that like you're trying to go win me a natty. I'm probably taking Kirby as of today. Like I think Saban he still is the GOAT. He's done more. And again, I know he's 4-1. And people forget that, like, Bama beat Georgia a calendar month prior to that national championship game, to get into the playoff in the first place. I think going into this season, you do have a lot of changes. I think at quarterback, especially, it's the first time you don't have a generational type quarterback, we think, under center or in shotgun, however Tyreek's going to line them up, in quite some time. Because I think that you've seen this at Clemson a lot, right? We have this generational talent. At some point, you're going to have a natural drop off. You go from Jalen Hurts to Tua to Mac to Bryce Young. I mean, the numbers Mac put up in a year after Joe Burrow and exceeding those in some areas. I think that you're probably going to have a natural drop off at some point. But the thing people seem to really, really forget is a year ago, you lose 2 games by 4 points, both in the last play of the game, both away from home. You're going to have a hard time convincing me. That schedule's tough. You're going to have a hard time convincing me that Tennessee and LSU are going to come into Tuscaloosa and beat Bama in back-to-back years, because we haven't seen it happen from one team in Knoxville in over 15 years. And LSU's done it once in the last decade. Yeah. So I think Bama's got a lot of, I think anytime Saban's got a chip on his shoulder and he's got that kind of recruiting, like that kind of roster talent, I think this year should be pretty good.
Yeah, well, I've said it from the beginning. If Kirby Smart is Luke Skywalker, I don't think Saban's is Obi-Wan. I think he's Darth Vader. What do you got,
Chris? I was going down the Alabama quarterback lineage just this week too, because for over a decade I've watched these Buckeye quarterbacks, and I've said, well, there's no way they can get any better than the guy they're about to replace. And I've watched them go from J.T. Barrett to Dwayne Haskins to Justin Fields to C.J. Stroud, and then just like you said, we've watched Alabama go from Jalen Hurts to Tua Tagovailoa to Mac Jones. Then they've had Bryce Young. So it seems like there could be a natural fall off. But then again, this is what Nick Saban does. Who do you think is going to win the starting quarterback job at Alabama? And, talking about LSU coming in, Brian Kelly said he wanted the smoke. He wanted to be in the SEC. He comes down year one. He's able to beat Nick Saban, in Baton Rouge. How do you think that game will play out in Tuscaloosa this season?
So, it's a hell of a win in Baton Rouge. I think if Bryce isn't the interception in the first quarter, maybe you have a different. There's so many little things that happen throughout the season that kind of change, where these narratives could change so quickly. And Brian Kelly, phenomenal job in year one in Baton Rouge. And I love the fact they have 10 of 11 coming back. That's the 6th win they've had against Bama in Baton Rouge since 1955. That is a statistical fact. The thing about the Bama quarterback situation, everyone assumes it's Ty Simpson, former 5-star kid. Listen, I hate this. I hate when people say this, but it's the whole sneaky athletic thing, right? He's like he's gonna get dubbed as a pocket passer for a reason I'm not gonna get into, but also he's a very athletic
like
kid.
Cade Klubnik.
Right. So he's a very athletic kid. He put up like over 1,000 yards rushing, I think, his senior year of high school. And he can move really well and move the pocket really well as well. The thing with Jalen Milroe that I think is going to be a really interesting thing, because I would love to live in a world where I think Jalen Milroe starts every game. I worry as a passer, unless he progresses in the way we saw Jalen Hurts kind of progress in year 2, because we didn't see that from him last year. I personally think that Bill O'Brien didn't do the greatest job of setting up a game plan, especially against A&M, that's catered to his skills. The thing about Jalen Milroe is, if you keep Jalen Milroe off the field, you know that when you keep him off the field, you're keeping the best athlete on either side of the ball, like on either team, off the field. Every time that kid steps on the field, he is the best athlete on the field, no matter which jersey you're putting on.
No, I agree with that. As a defensive guy, Jalen Milroe scares the hell out of me if he figures it out.
Yeah.
It's like Nick Marshall. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go out there and do trigonometry. Let's just be able to
well, we saw flashes of it. We saw flashes
against
of it
Arkansas.
Can he do it the whole season?
He's got some guts, too.
For sure.
I mean, does LSU, my thing is, do you think LSU is going to repeat in the West? I mean, the only quarterback returning in the SEC right now is Jaden Daniels, and then what they're building, Harold Perkins coming back. I mean, your best receiver coming back. I think right now, if you're LSU, I'm feeling really good about a lot of things coming back in this locker room. Where do you think LSU finishes up in the West?
I mean, I think they finished second. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. There's so much reason or so many reasons to be confident if you're an LSU fan. And listen, I love Baton Rouge. I love those fans. I like it's the best environment in college football when that place is rocking. But at the same time, you know, like I look at the way they close the season as I think something that people forget, because I think there's a lot of times where I'm going to sound like a homer for this, but I think you get your resume kind of checked off of the fact that, like, yeah, you beat Bama, and then you kind of can do whatever. Look what Jimbo did the year before at A&M when you go 8-4, but you have that, you know, you beat Bama, and then you get in the offseason and have like a number one recruiting class. You know, that went a long way for him. LSU the following week to clinch the SEC West. You see him go on the road against Arkansas with a backup quarterback playing for Arkansas. You escape with a 3-point win. Yeah. Like, then they go in with then they're kind of propped up by the committee to number 5 in the country, where they have everything in front of them. Like, you know, potentially, I never thought they were going to beat Georgia, but you have everything in front of you potentially to make it like backdoor your way into the playoff after losing 2 games that season, and you go on the road to College Station and lay an egg and get beat by double digits. Like, I think that there's things like that would worry me, just because those things happened, right? Like, we've seen the tape. It's like, put on the tape. It's not like an Anthony Richardson hype video. Like, put on the tape. So I think stuff like that kind of worries me, but they do have a ton of talent coming back.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to schedule too.
Yeah,
like
I mean, then think of one, you're gonna have Florida State your first game, and that's might be one of the best games we watch all year. But we always say this about the SEC: it doesn't matter how you win, right? Just go win the game. All right. And I think LSU did a lot of that. I mean, you did lose to a Tennessee team. You got killed 40-13. We all remember that game. But I'm taking LSU to win the West this upcoming year.
Well, I think LSU is going to be the favorite at SEC Media Days to win the West. You know, I'm kind of looking around at the rest of college football, and I'm wondering who you look at. Michigan, for example. Is this the year, with what they have coming back, with Corum coming back, with J.J. McCarthy coming back, with some pieces on defense that you feel good about? Is this the year, Chris? I'll end it with this one. Is this the year that a team outside of the SEC wins the national championship, whether that be USC, whether that be Oregon, Texas, whoever? It's like just from a number standpoint, odds standpoint, it's like you want to say yes, right? I mean, like, it's like, because like, how long could this happen? But at the same time, we've watched it happen year in, year out. Yeah. I'll tell you what, like we talked about it at the very beginning. I don't see how you discount Georgia. And Blaine, you brought up the best part, the schedule. The schedule is like Georgia is from a roster standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, all that stuff. And you're replacing, I think, you know, like both coordinators are like, I think actually you're replacing one coordinator, but it's been a generational type coordinator on offense, and the talent you have to replace there. They return a ton of talent, and that schedule is arguably, from a contender standpoint, not just easy, but like light years easier than every other team that's like contending with like a path. They don't have an Ohio State on that schedule like Michigan does. They don't have, you know, Texas, LSU, Tennessee like Bama does. I think Georgia can get there. Like, they can go 11-1 and just kind of, you know, skate through the, because they'll start top 4. I mean, it's not like they're going to start 5th,
right?
You know,
right. And like, I think it's, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day. We were talking about the NBA playoff thing, and I think there was a quote from how am I like drawing a blank on this? It wasn't from Steph, but it was from somebody from Golden State. It was like, if we're fully healthy, there's nobody that's going to beat us in 7 games. It was Clay. Yeah. So it was like nobody's going to beat us in 7 games. That's how I feel about Georgia, because at this day and age with the playoff, it's like, if you're healthy and you're, you know, if they're 11-1 and they have a chip on their shoulder, God forbid. Last year, Kirby had them believing that people thought they were going to go 7-5 somehow.
Yeah, I know. Just
they have a chip on their shoulder.
The same people that, you know, Bryce Young's been underestimated his whole life as a 5-star number 1 ranked quarterback in the country.
Any other team,
that signed with Bama.
Any other team, I would say,
playoff, he's done.
Any other team, I would say, don't underestimate the power of complacency. after winning back-to-back championships. Kirby Smart, all this guy does is figure out a way to make sure his players understand that they are the underdogs. So to me, for Georgia to falter, it really has to be on the quarterback play. And you bring in a new OC, Todd Monken's gone. So, you would have to have some serious regression at the quarterback position to me.
I'm just laughing. Can you imagine just him walking them in Georgia opens their new football facility and Kirby walks in
Lamborghini leather.
Like Lamborghini leather. He's looking around. He's like, guys, I know we got it bad. Look how poor we are. Look at this. Disgusting. We're one bowl of porridge away from being Oliver Twist, but we're going to fight through it.
Don't pour over me.
Don't pour over me. No, it's just, it's a mind game. That's what it is, man. Good. It's mental gymnastics. But, Chris, tell everybody where they can follow you on Twitter. We can juice that Twitter account back up. You guys do a great job. College Football Uncensored. Saturday down south with our buddy Connor Aguero over there. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's always great. I love y'all's show. So, it's Vern Funquist. There's no E. It's just VERN, and then Funquist. Shout out to obviously Vern Lundquist, but
for sure.
Yeah, Vern Funquist on Twitter, and then the podcast is College Football Uncensored. We also have a Twitter account over there. But yeah, the podcast comes out every Monday and Wednesday night. We do a live episode and all that kind of stuff. We're just trying to get on y'all's level. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Shoot, man. We got to get Connor back too. I'm sure we're going to see you up here at Media Days in Nashville, baby.
Nashville, baby. David, will you get in touch with your brother Elon Musk and get this figured out?
Yes. Can you please hit him up?
Come on, man.
Look, it was a point of contention the last time I saw him.
Okay, good. Right. Glad to hear that.
Easter weekend, it was very contentious.
Yeah, Elon on Easter. Fair enough. Craziness. Appreciate it, Chris.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good day.
All right, Chris Marler, good friend of the show. Okay, we got reactions coming up, but I want to get back to the Booster Club for a second.
All right, let's go to Cope19. He says, Buckeye spring game this week. Mm-hmm. All right, always nervous when you have a new starting QB, but did you know Kyle McCord played high school football out of the same team as Marvin Harrison Jr. and won 3 straight championships?
Look,
I just said.
I believe it. I just said. Is Marvin Harrison Jr. going to play this year, though?
Maybe.
You talk about him, people sitting out. Oh, my hammy. Well, Jackson Smith and Jigba last year.
Talking about business. Talking about business decisions.
Ow. My leg and my head and my arm, my shoulder.
Man, the inside the OSU's building, they're saying Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver to come through there. And talk about the quarterback position. There's a couple things that I worry about in life. Old ladies getting pushed down in streets and stuff. That's a bad look. Mm-hmm. I don't worry about who's going to be playing quarterback for the Buckeyes. All right, because he's going to be really good.
Yeah, and they just got another one. Air Nolan committed. His name's Air Nolan.
Yeah, good luck on him being bad.
Yeah, the last guy named Air Bud.
They're making a movie about him.
Golden receiver.
Oh yeah, him too.
All right, let's go to
Air Jordan. God, let's see why they did
the best receivers to come out of Ohio State.
I mean, it was
Garrett Wilson.
Hold on, let me look at the last 12 years.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson's pretty good.
Olave's really nice. Terrell Pryor, if you really want to be honest.
Who was it? Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline was ranking. Yes. Brian Hartline was asked on Bussin' with the Boys the other day about who, because he's seen all of them come out here recently.
Yeah.
Chris Carter,
Marvin Harrison Jr. 1, Jackson Smith and Jigba 2. He had I think Garrett Wilson either at 3 or 4.
Where's Michael Thomas?
I don't know if either third or Michael Thomas wasn't on this list, but I do remember Chris Olave was 5th.
Dude,
Chris Olave was 5th.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is 6'4", isn't he? Isn't he like 6'3"?
Is he
6'4"? I think he's that big.
You know what? We'll pull that video this week of Brian Hartline on Bussin' with the Boys and react to his list of OSU wide receivers.
I love it.
It's ridiculous, man.
All right, let's go to Mark Pick. He says the SEC is a top conference, but who's number 2 next year? I think Pac-12, top to bottom, is strong until them boys from LA move on.
Oh, next year, we've been saying this, with what's the biggest narrative, typically in the offseason in general, but it's especially going into this year, returning quarterbacks. Look in the SEC, you got Spencer Rattler, you got Jane Daniels at LSU. Outside of that, the big dogs are having to replace quarterbacks. Ohio State's having to replace quarterback. Michigan's not. Michigan's kind of in that vein, but when you look at the Pac-12, we brought it up earlier, Michael Penix coming back to Washington. Cam Rising once again at Utah. Bo Nix, focused, having fun, and also been playing college for 19 years. The DeLora kid from Arizona. Your last name, the DeLorean. There you go. I just made one up for him. How about that? DJU at Oregon State. Are they going to figure it out? Like I said with Chip Kelly, they're going to be good offensively. So the Pac-12 to me in an unbelievable stroke of irony, in the same week where they're talking to the CW about airing Pac-12 games on the CW. So, hey guys,
right next to Live
USC
Golf.
versus USC right after Supernatural.
Yeah, and Live Golf.
Yeah, or some vampire show that teenage girls watch. You can catch the Pac-12 games. This could be the best year the Pac-12 has had for a long time. And I'm saying going into this year, the Pac-12, in my opinion, second best conference.
Well, how do you want to grade success? Is it by being the deepest? Then I agree that they have a shot.
I'll always grade success on deepest.
But see, would you rather, as a conference, the Big Ten got 2 teams in the college football playoff last year. That was amazing. And every other conference winner around the country could have probably won the Big Ten West. They could have won the Big Ten West.
For sure.
Right? So that's not a good look for the Big Ten. They certainly weren't the deepest last year. But they got 2 teams. They represented half of the college football playoff. Neither team won. They didn't make the championship. But that's very good for the conference, and that's a good look to have really good teams, even though it is top heavy. So I don't know exactly how we want to grade the success, but the Pac-12 is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I will always grade success of a conference by the balance and depth of the conference from top to bottom. Because we see outliers all the time, right? We see teams come out of conferences and win national championships or make it to the playoff. You saw Cincinnati come out and make it to the playoff. We watched Coastal Carolina win the College World Series in baseball. But just looking, I think what makes the SEC the strongest is the depth. And then the most common misconception is people say, oh, well, look at their record. This team was 7-5. Well, you know why they're 7-5? Because they got to play all these other teams. No conference has 9 teams that are going undefeated because they all play each other. So that argument sucks. But when it comes down to it, and even Vandy is getting better. I don't think they have expectations. He does. But I get the argument of we just at least want one dominant team to get in there and be the staple or carry the mantle for the conference so we can say, hey, we got one in. I can get that. Again, there's one thing to have a group of girls and one of them's a 10 at the party and the rest are 4s, or you're walking in there with 6 8s and a 7. Like, that's just the way I look at it.
Let's go to Laura Brown. What's up, Laura? She says, who's your favorite team to make the college football playoff outside of the SEC?
Michigan.
Well, Michigan.
Outside of the SEC and Michigan.
Something about me really likes USC or Washington.
No, here we go. Florida State.
USC or Washington.
Florida State.
Well, Florida State, I feel like you'd have to get off to a good start against LSU. Right?
Well, see, David, I disagree with that because
if they lose it, I know you're talking about buying equity with a nice loss at the
insurance.
But insurance? Do you think they drop another game after that though?
Where do they play Clemson? That's what I need to know. Or do they play Clemson?
And Florida.
Florida, I believe they got Florida in the swamp.
And Miami. They're going to play Miami?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Talking about Florida State or Clemson?
Florida State.
Because if they lose to LSU first week, that is a good loss. But still, if you lose twice, there's going to be some other team.
You lose twice in the ACC, you're in trouble.
Yes.
LSU could get away with it because they were in the SEC.
Yes.
You lose twice in the ACC.
Don't want the schedule?
Hit me with it.
All right. Obviously, you have LSU week 1.
Yeah. And that is in Florida. That's a de facto home game.
Yeah, de facto home game, kind of. Already got Southern Miss.
Neutral site in my
Just
state.
like last year's was in the Superdome.
You remember my rule. If I'm playing a neutral site game, we're playing it in my state.
So this was like a home and home, but home state, not home.
Yes. Yeah. Or you have Southern Miss next week at home.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go to BC, Boston College. You go to Clemson.
They go on the road to
Denver.
You have VTech at home, Syracuse at home, Duke at home. You go to Wake Forest. You go to Pittsburgh. You have Miami at home, North Alabama at home, then you go to Florida.
Can we look at the division? I'm trying to remember. Is Florida State and Clemson in the same division?
Florida
in the ACC? Got the Atlantic and the Coastal, right?
I believe they are.
Okay.
So they go on the road to Pitt, they go on the road to Clemson, they go on the road to Florida, and they get Miami at home.
Yes.
Okay.
And then LSU
neutral site.
So you win that LSU game. I think it buys you a game of insurance, whether that's at Clemson. But then it comes down to, are you going to, then would you have to hope Clemson loses in the ACC championship game to get you in? You'd obviously rather win them all. I think FSU's good enough to win them all, honestly.
Well, you look at Wake Forest, Sam Hartman leaving to go to Notre Dame, Devin Leary, leaving
Gone.
NC State to go to Kentucky. So those are a couple.
Is North Carolina going to be any good on defense? That's
another one. Drake May, but Drake May can just freak out.
The at Pittsburgh scares me. Like those type of games, like the team that's won like physical, they're going to be well coached. You're on the road.
Might be cold.
Like they're pissed off for some reason. No one knows why. Like those are the games.
Steelers are down.
Maybe they just played West Virginia and like things get
at Boston College. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm a big Jeff Hafley guy, man. Boston.
They got to figure it out. What's Miami going to be like this year?
I know.
Does anybody know?
Yeah.
No.
Does anybody know at all?
All right, let's go and get to reactions.
Reactions. All right, so I have a reaction here from a Michael Jordan commercial with his mother. And I need you guys to watch this and just, pay attention.
Okay.
Pay attention closely and see what you think about this one.
All right, let's play it.
Like that?
No, like this.
There we go. Nice shot, Mom.
Yeah. And now give it some razzle-dazzle.
That's 100. Yeah. Hold on, wait. So
just keep running.
Okay. So run it one more time. If you're on audio, when his mom pretends to dunk it, this is a man. Now they look nothing alike.
They're ahead of their time.
Like that.
They wore the same clothes, Jake.
Well, my thing is, David. Like, did they do this on purpose? So we'll obviously know that's 100% not his mom, or did they actually think, hey, I think they'll buy this? Ha ha ha. Because that's not even
no
close.
shot that they think anybody could buy this who can see.
They wanted us to have a laugh, and
Look,
we are.
He has a mustache.
No, like this.
He has a mustache.
See, you say that, Blaine.
Jake, he has a mustache.
I understand that. You say that, but Nike also has a Blaine, Nike spokesperson for women's sports bras, or for sports bras and women's leggings, is Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah, but that's
who
what I'm saying.
legitimately can grow a mustache.
When did this come out?
I don't know, and I don't know if
time ago.
Like this may be just the behind-the-scenes cut of it. I'm sure.
Was this a preview of the future though, with men and women's sports? Were they telling us something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they knew it was
Look at that right there.
Look at him.
That's 100% not him.
Look how happy he is.
No, he's standing next to Michael Jordan. Oh, that's great. That's good stuff there, David. That's good stuff.
Beautiful.
That's
good
all
stuff.
I have today.
All right, let's get back to the Booster Club before we get to bets.
All right, let's go to, I believe it was M. Hutton, who said there's no such thing as a good loss. A loss is a loss. This is America.
I agree.
Not in the committee's eyes.
There is no such thing as, and personally, there's no such thing as a good loss. But if we're comparing losses to losses, there is a good loss compared to a bad loss.
Sure.
All right, let's go to Deacon and Nora. What's up? Let's just start bench cut, wide receiver edition. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs.
I'm going to start Justin Jefferson. I'm going to bench Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs. I'm going to have to cut you, but please don't leave the building, man, because we're going to be signing you first person.
Your key card still works.
Key card still works. First person gets hurt. I don't care what position. You're back on the team.
Let's go to Anthony Henriksen. He says North Carolina and Drake May could win the ACC if their defense can at least be okay.
Yeah, but look at the weapons that people are sleeping on Josh Downs being gone from North Carolina. Like, I know that Mac and them have done a good job recruiting and good players want to play with Drake May, and Drake May is 100% Slytherin grad, which of the highest order. I get it. But that defense, they showed some promise at the end of the year. I do believe in Gene Chizik as the defensive coordinator, but they're going to have to get whole heapins better. They're the USC of the East Coast. That's who they are. They're about in the same position defensively. The only difference is Mac's been at North Carolina a whole hell of a lot longer than Lincoln's been at USC.
Yeah, and I would still trust the offensive side of USC more than I would of North Carolina, at least at the end of last season, even though I think Drake May will win the Heisman this year. I'm just wondering, can they get to 9 wins?
Well, if
they get to 9, he can win the Heisman.
He can, but Phil Longo being gone,
that's a huge loss.
Is huge. And again, it's one of those sneaky coordinators.
And Joshua Downs, best receiver, being gone. He's going to be an NFL guy. Yep. He's going to be good his rookie year, I'm pretty sure. Let's go to Travis Elrod, this is interesting information. Blaine, they were discussing this while you were out. Is it true you can't throw a Frisbee? What's going on?
You can't throw a Frisbee.
I can't. It's not like I'm not capable.
I think we said you told us that. I've never seen you.
I can't throw it like good, right? Yeah. But I can somewhat sling it out there a little bit. Aren't we going to go to a disc golf championship and announce it? Are we going to do that? Isn't that in the works?
I need to. Are
we going to do that, PJ?
I want to compete.
Sure. You want to compete?
Yeah.
Well, I
feel like I can get a flyer.
You don't get to go. You got to work your way up.
Well, what Girl Scout troop do we got to go beat to be able to get in this?
You thought you had a first round bye?
What do you think this
to the disc golf championship?
No. Look, I
get first round
guys.
bye.
Put me on the first tee. I'm ready to go.
You're the wild card.
I think I'm going to scissor.
You got to go in a plane.
I think they call
You got to go on the road.
I think they call it scissor throwing it.
Scissor throwing it. Can you this?
This scissor throw.
Okay, yeah.
The scissor.
Just putting it on the table.
Or was this called the lizard?
I don't like what you're doing.
The lizard.
What?
Oh, it's beautiful. I love that. Let's go to Matty Ice, 1994, who's also known as Nighthawk.
He is.
Okay. Says Dante Moore, who left Oregon and went to USA, was working out with Mahomes and Lance. Could be scary. I'm pretty sure he's a quarterback.
Went to USA or
UCLA. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I read a lot of things on this.
Look, I'm always going to
Perfect.
sign off on a quarterback that Chip can think that things can do it. I mean, Chip Kelly knows anything. It's that guacamole's fantastic.
Wait, so this
and
kid
how to
left
get quarterback
Oregon.
ready.
This kid left Oregon, and he is projected to be the starter at quarterback for UCLA.
UCLA, yes, sir.
Yep. And look, work out with Patrick Mahomes. That's great. Be around him as much as possible.
Yeah.
Go put ketchup on your steak. Go have an annoying little brother and a crazy wife. Whatever works.
All right, let's go to Josh Reagan. What's up, Josh? He says, can I get a moment of silence for my Pirates starting 6-3 and then immediately being the Pirates skin by O'Neal Cruz breaking his ankle? Not good.
Look, I don't want to bring this up, but yeah, I think the Pirates are in big trouble. Start at 6-3. You never know. It's baseball. We've seen crazier things. I watched Acuna go down for the Braves, and they got better. So
talk about USC real quick. I just got a text from Blake Rapinoe, who's listening to the show. I'm sorry I made Lindell White hate you. LOL. In all fairness, I didn't know he would get that upset that Caleb Williams paints his nails.
we love Rapinoe over there at AYS. All right, let's go. Let's go to another one. I totally lost my train of thought.
Let's go to Brian Brown. He says, is Bobo going to continue the winning in old GA?
Here's what I want to say.
Say it.
Coaches matter a lot.
Oh, here we go.
They matter a lot. I was one of them. You're one of them. But when you have the players that Georgia has, it's you just don't wreck the car, right? I give you a great NASCAR. I got to get you a great car. It's the fastest car. It's the best looking car. It's the most expensive car. We got the best people around you working on the car, the best gasoline, all type of stuff, parts. Your job is to go out there, you put that pedal down to the floor, you scream America, and you don't wreck it. That's what Georgia is. Georgia is this beautiful thoroughbred horse, just majestic. That, like Secretariat just flying around the ring. It's just perfect. Just don't piss the horse off or break it. Don't do it. Don't touch it. So yes, it's a lot easier to call plays when I got that offensive line, when I've got that wide receiver, when I got Ra Thomas, when I got Dominic Lovett, when I got Brock Bowers, and that other thing they signed, it makes it a whole hell of a lot easier. Carson Beck looking good in spring. I think he's going to be the guy.
You think he is going to be the guy?
I think Carson Beck is going to be the guy. So I don't think it's as much about Mike Bobo being a savant. It's about Mike Bobo being able to keep the car on the track without wrecking it. Can he do that? Yes.
Who is more important if you're Georgia last year, Todd Monken or Stetson Bennett?
Stetson Bennett.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. You think Stetson Bennett, who's got a better chance of success? Stetson Bennett going up in the booth or calling plays, or Todd Monken's old ass down the field making plays?
Give me Todd in his prime, for sure.
Yeah, we're not talking about his prime. We're talking about last year.
You could put Stephen Hawkins at quarterback for Georgia and probably win 10 games. Let's be honest. You could run the ball 95%
around us.
95% of the time at Georgia and probably win 10 games. Am I wrong?
Todd Monken will go kick that motion.
Well,
for sure. Five and a hit.
For sure.
Hey, what type of trick plays would Stephen Hawking be running?
I don't know.
There'd be some
There'd
stuff.
be people out there teleporting.
Space-time continuum.
Yeah, they're running reverses. Next thing you know, you get hit in the face with a Dell laptop.
Someone just pops up in the end zone.
Brock Bowers is like, they stepped him on. He's like on top of the goalpost.
Yeah, it's like they just you lose.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Weston Hamilton. What's up, Weston? He says, what's up? This is Weston from Utah. Okay. Maybe you come in with that name, and if you call in, how long can you see Dalton Kincaid in the NFL? In my opinion, he's taken the crown from old T. Kelsey.
Kincaid's nice. Talking about the tight end, but let's hold our brakes. Travis Kelce's the best catching tight end I've ever seen in my life. Now, we can have the argument about blocking and route running and catching all together, but when it comes to route running and being effective in the pass game, Travis Kelce's the GOAT to me. The GOAT. Just won another one.
It's going to be hard. I mean, is Travis Kelce the best tight end ever to play?
Well, we've got to, okay, but to me, if you would say, Jake, Travis Kelce's the best receiving tight end, I should say in general, in the NFL, in history? I would say yes. Is he the best overall tight end in history? I don't know from a blocking standpoint. I know he's good enough to do what they asked him to do, and the threat of him on the on the slam and slide, or slipping you on the split zone, or any of the things that the option routes they have, or being able to sit down in zones, it's such a threat it helps him in the run game. But just overall, if we're talking about a true tight end, not a flex Y, but a true tight end, and we see Travis Kelce line up in line. We see him line up in the hip. We see him line up in a lot of different places. In the backfield. Hell, they're doing snow globes in the backfield. Receiving, yes. All time, when we're looking at dual threat, I need some more time on that.
So who do you have there? The Gronk?
Gonzalez?
Tony Gonzalez is up there, man. I think, you got to put Gronk in there because Gronk did have a lot of success catching the ball, and he was hell run blocking. He couldn't tackle a math problem in a third grade classroom. But, no, there's some other guys up there, man. Kellen Winslow, not Junior, the psycho, but his father. So there's some other...
Antonio Gates, Shannon
Antonio
Sharp.
Gates, man.
Yeah.
So Antonio Gates played for like 30 years.
Let's go to Josh Ragan. What's up, Josh? Hashtag, he wants to know, how likely when do you see a move from ACC teams like Clemson and FSU to the SEC?
I'm not going to discount anything happening. We see Texas and Oklahoma coming, even though Greg Sankey's come out and said, hey, we're going to chill on this a little bit. You heard Florida State's AD looking at the money with the TV rights and revenue, saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. Why are Clemson and us bringing in 15% of the revenue yet getting 7% of the cut? You know, you don't have to be Al Capone or John Gotti or Tony Soprano to realize those numbers don't add up. They're literally, Florida State and Clemson's running protection racket for the ACC, and they're not getting paid when they show up at the grocery store to get their money each week. So I wouldn't be shocked. All it takes is one. It's one domino. All it takes is one.
Because they're so locked into that contract.
I know they are.
I think it's going to take over, what did it say in the contract? Over half or maybe 8? Like if the whole conference dissolves, yes, they can get out of their contract. But 1 or 2, they're going to have to pay like
well, again, if ESPN's brokering the deal on both sides, does ESPN go in there and say, hey, I love our diversified portfolio, but we're moving to super conferences anyway. We want to go ahead and protect the guys that we have before we have to face Fox and then the Klingons for interstellar domination.
That's where it gets tricky because ESPN has the rights to the SEC, but ESPN also has the rights to the ACC. So it's not even like an ESPN Fox situation. They're in the middle and overseeing both.
Oh, for sure. I'm talking about making sure they keep Florida State in their cusp and not let anything happen down the road, but they've got them locked in for so long, I don't think that's even a possibility. But as far as making a deal to get Florida State to the SEC, I mean, they could have the same guys sit in the same room and say, hey, let's just, change this, undot this I and uncross this T. So I would guess it would be Florida State before Clemson. I would guess it'd be Florida State before Clemson.
Let's go to AJ Adams, 22. He wants to know our thoughts on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Starting 10-0.
My thoughts hit a bet last night.
Yes,
yeah, Cohn's going to keep betting them. They're the first team to start 10-0 since 1987.
Yep.
We picked our division win. There's a long way to go, guys. There's such a long way to go. There's 152 more games to go. They're not going to go undefeated, but I'm interested to see how long they can keep this undefeated streak going.
I got them tonight, too, boys.
Yep. And that's a great segue. How about that?
How about that?
I need a segue to segue.
Real question. Real quick question I want to know from both of you because this is just scary regardless of which outcome you pick. Would you rather meet Jerome Bettis in the hole as defender or be caught in the flat against Sean Taylor as a receiver?
Give me Jerome Bettis. I'll try and take your legs out.
I don't want.
I'm on defense. I'll try and take your legs out. I don't want Sean Taylor to rip my soul out of my body and show it to the crowd.
I can make a business decision against Jerome Bettis.
I'd rather be in the flat. Just hope that Sean Taylor maybe just,
Well, across the middle.
I feel like it's like
I don't want to
cross the middle.
In the flat is a little safer, push you out of bounds.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the hole with Jerome Bettis.
I don't know.
Across the middle, though.
With Sean Taylor?
And if you change it to across the middle, I'll take Jerome Bettis.
I mean, if you're running that swing pass and Sean figured it out and your eyes are turned, though.
One thing about that's an important point.
If you're running the swing, is he?
Your head's
hopefully
turned.
he's not rolled.
He better not be play side.
Hopefully he's coming.
He better not be play side.
Jake makes an important point. In the flat, most likely your head is going to be turned. But see, you've already set up the fact that Sean Taylor's on the other team, which means I'm not looking at.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at the ball.
I don't care about catching the ball.
We got Velcro.
I'm looking at Sean Taylor.
I'm wearing a Velcro uniform, and we're putting Velcro on the end of the ball. You can just stick it to me because I'm looking at where
I got COVID. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I got mid-play. You got COVID.
Mid-play COVID.
That's happens all the time.
That's the worst.
All right, I've been betting Major League Baseball. Never going to do that anymore. Remember, our bets are brought to you by our friends over at DraftKings. Make sure you use that promo code BOOSTER for some great deals over there. Like I said, Major League Basketball has been whipping me like a redheaded stepchild. So we're going to mix it up and go for the overachiever firstborn with black hair and blue eyes. Here's what I got. College baseball. Give me parlay. Florida, Arkansas, LSU, and Texas. Come on, guys. Just a win. Midweek games. I know we're not bringing the Friday night guy out there, but your Tuesday guy's better than theirs. Grow up, Peter Pan. That's at plus 212. Then, second parlay. Mississippi State money line, Oklahoma State money line, East Carolina money line. That's plus 211. We just need to chip away. Don't want to get it all back at once. That's how you dig yourself in the hole. Keanu Reeves on hardball, right? Oh, I missed a bet. Let's double up on the next bet. This isn't blackjack, man.
Coney?
All right, Rays money line. Like you said, first team to start 10-0 since 1987, so I'm going to take them again. That's minus 190, and then I want the Yankees, Braves, and the Rangers all to win. That's plus 186.
Yeah, the Yankees need to figure out.
You got to take like 19 bets to catch
Yeah,
up.
we'll cross this bridge when we get there. All right, give me the T-Wolves. No, not yet. Give me the T-Wolves plus 11.5. I was going off at minus 181. And give me the Hawks plus 8.5. That's minus 191. I think both these games are going to be a little playing. They're going to put it all on the line for this game, depending on who plays, if anybody plays. If I hit both of these, I'll totally move up like 0.3 units.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, like, there's so many people doubtful for these NBA playoffs games. It's just going to turn into that 3-on-3 league with Ice Cube. It's just like three people out there playing against three. It's about the way it looks. Ace, he's going to go T-Wolves plus 8. That's at minus 110. And then the Heat, minus 5 at minus 110. I believe the Heat are the home team and the Lakers are the home team tonight in these games. Remember, we went through the format. I don't want to have to go through that Rubik's Cube again. So let's get back to the Booster Club here.
Also, glad to have you back reading the chat, man.
It's
Tough to. It's hard. It's hard to.
It's a little difficult
with
to stay in the
everything they're
conversation.
talking about. I looked down 1 second to get a question, and it's banana pudding.
Yeah,
For 30 comments.
Yeah, the thing about it, if you start if you start anything in the chat, especially when it's food related, good luck.
Yeah, it's gone.
Good luck. It's gone at that point.
And then double chat, YouTube, Daily Wire.
Dude.
Look, hats off to you.
And somebody yesterday during Collins had the what is it, the Grand Slam that we call it. He was watching on YouTube.
Yep.
And the Daily Wire.
And he donated $100.
Donated $100. So he's on the board.
He was on the board. I mean, and he called in.
And he called in. It's called the
And he
Grand
has a
Slam.
Richard Todd rookie card. He's going to send.
Steve.
Actually,
Which, by the way, can we put in the chat, PJ, where he can send that Richard Todd card to get
I
signed?
told him to email me because I honestly don't know with security, but yeah,
Gotcha.
I'll get everyone what they
I talked to Richard about it last night.
Perfect.
On board.
No,
Good. Hey, has anybody's thoughts? Someone asked this earlier, but I can't go up and find it. Won't have enough time. Has any thoughts changed on the pitch clock in baseball?
No, I hate it. It's only made me madder.
I don't hate it. I hate that we have to use it. I hate that the rule can't simply be when you walk in the batter's box, stay there until you're either out or you get a hit. But I guess we need.
Is it going to be a postseason thing as well?
Yes.
So you're telling me. All right, Dave. You think people aren't that they're okay with it now? We're in the postseason.
Yeah,
last game.
Not even
bottom
forget
of the
the
ninth.
postseason. If it costs the game, like we saw in spring training, it should not be something that
the ninth inning. It should be off. It should be off in the ninth inning.
I don't think it should be in the postseason.
I don't like the violations leading to balls and strikes. That part I don't like. I do like the fact that the game has been sped up, and not that it was too slow necessarily before. I'm just saying it has a good pace to it right now.
You know what would be a great and again, I think at 8 seconds the pitcher should be allowed to throw it. But what if you got a warning? The first one was a warning to each team. You have one batter do it. Hey, that's a warning. We give them warnings all the time if you throw a pitch. The second one, we're tossing your manager.
Something like that is much better. I like that so much better than giving a ball or a strike.
Yeah, like you're gone. And you know what? What's the worst thing that happens? You get a great argument between the umpire and the guy who threw
And
out.
you kick a little.
But why do we have to make it balls? See, it's like NIL in the transfer board. They just released it. Here, fly, doves. Let's hope it works out. Oh no, the stock market crashed and now China's invading.
They started in the minors first, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
but
that's a little bit better than NIL in the transfer portal. They're like, hey, good luck.
Well, what do you mean? They were paying people the whole time. It's basically the minor leagues are getting paid. We just didn't know. It just wasn't legal. Like they've been paying players forever.
Yeah, I know, but that's not the same as putting out in the minor league and let it sit for a little bit. If you're paying someone behind closed doors, the fans really don't know how it's going to be. So the fans know how it was going to be when it came into the major league.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fans knew you're paying for players. It's different because it's a rule. That's where I think the difference is. But again, it's one thing to do something in the minors. It's one thing to do something in a developmental league. It's another thing when you change a sport that's been played a certain way for 100 and some odd years, like at the highest level. That's my problem because it will happen. And I'm not even saying it's going to happen in the postseason. What if you're one game out and it costs you a game at the end to make the playoffs. I would lose my mind. In a 162-game schedule, I just grinded through that so that guy that sits back there can tell me I'm out because there's 7 seconds left. I mean, grow up. Let's get to the poll.
Soon, so.
You want the poll?
Yeah.
All right, who is better? Me or replacement cone?
You.
I'm gonna say they went with the Dragon, 74%.
Wow.
70.
I wish. Jeez, I guess replacement cone had a good week.
He did have a good week.
Gone.
How good?
Like apparently no bad takes. It was
None.
A hot take.
He did not have one bad.
I'm not even excited about this, to be honest. Like me, 56%.
You won.
You won.
You won.
It's not good enough.
Take your stuff. Go home.
It's not good enough. It's not
That's
good
a
enough.
dub, Blaine.
That's a cone.
Dub's a dub.
That's
just
a
like
traffic
DJ
cone.
said.
Hey, you know, how are you going to sit here and say
traffic.
there's
He has
no
Doug
such...
Funny's nose.
You know, if you're going to sit here and say there's no such thing as a good loss, then you also have to say there's no such thing as a bad win.
That's in the SEC. All right.
Yes, it is.
Listen, I'm not playing
is.
Kentucky on the road. That's a traffic cone.
Yeah.
All right? You put that in
He has a
traffic.
name. All right.
Oh, y'all are nice to him now. I have to stop y'all from hitting him every 2 episodes. Shh.
It's okay. Replacement cone.
Jeez. All right, that's a poll, fellas.
All right. Well, anything else, Boost Club parting shots?
Missed y'all.
Missed
y'all.
you.
I'm glad I'm back. Glad I'm back. Glad y'all getting in here. Great day, fellas. Great first day. Great
Oh,
first
yeah.
day. I'm so glad to be. I'm still rocking. That's the thing about you get on that boat for so long. Like everywhere I walk, it still feels like I'm on a boat.
Did you see any UFOs out there when you were looking around?
I went and I saw a couple. I'm pretty sure.
Are you being for cereal, or are you?
I think I
just
saw
making
one
that
in
up?
Cozumel.
Unidentified
That's where
floating
they are,
object.
For sure.
Yeah, either that or it's a.
If I was an alien, where am I
Chinese
going?
woman.
Take me to Cancun, bro. I'm surprised we hadn't seen like one of those aliens like doing Jello shots with all the girls from Clemson.
I went to Cozumel, but cool.
Yeah.
Something like this right here.
Yeah. Yes. How do you not dance when this comes on? This made me actually
Yeah, I wanna
enjoy
listen to
watching
this
the
every
Mets play
morning when
baseball
I
for
get
a little bit. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe, turn that notification bell on, hit that like button. Got live call-ins tomorrow. All right, so make sure you get those calls in. We're going to start taking them at 7:30 a.m. Central. That's correct, David. Did a pretty good job there. But we start taking them at 7:15 a.m. In the morning Central Time, and then we'll bring you on at 7:30 or maybe even a little bit before that. But make sure you go to the Daily Wire Plus, check all that stuff out, and follow us on social media at Crane Company on Twitter. Let's get our follower count up on our Crane Company account. Go check it out. It's at Crane Company, CRAIN Company. Appreciate you guys, and like the chances of the Rays starting off bad to the season, we're going, gone.